Hey guys, and welcome to new releases for the week of March 24th. There is a ton of stuff to talk about, so let's do this. Before we jump into the actual makeup products, let's stop for a moment and talk about this. So, Sephora is coming out with a credit card program. They're going to be offering a Sephora credit card, Sephora Visa credit card, and Sephora Visa Signature credit card. As far as I'm aware, there's no details released yet in terms of what those three different credit card options are going to provide. I imagine there's going to be certain perks for each one. There's no details in terms of annual fees or interest rates either. So, card holders are going to earn rewards in addition to rewards from the Beauty Insider program, and the Sephora Visa Signature credit card will have access to Visa Signature benefits. Again, don't know what those are going to be. It's initially going to be available in select markets, and then it'll be rolling out to the US online and in stores in the following months. And there's no mention of whether or not it's going to be coming to Canada or the UK or anywhere else where Sephora may be. So, I think this is a colossally bad idea. I basically think that any store credit cards are a bad idea simply because the interest rates on them are usually north of 20%, which is insane, really, and kind of wipes out the benefits that you may receive from it unless you're doing a really high volume of purchases on it. So I know for me, I don't frankly care if it comes to Canada because I will not apply for this card. It is not something that I need in my life. I would just really suggest that unless you have like a strong hold on your finances, just skip this altogether. I just foresee an awful lot of debt being created by this program, and depending on what their criteria are for acceptance for applicants for this card, there could be a lot of like 19 and 20-year-olds out there armed with a credit card with the temptation to purchase items from Sephora and racking up additional debts in addition to potentially student debts, vehicle loans, all of that kind of thing as well. So I just think that there is an inherent danger in this and in any store credit card and any credit card, frankly. It's very easy to spend on that and then not realize how much you've spent until you get that statement, and it can snowball out of control very quickly. So for me, this is a big old no. Even if it did come to Canada, I'm not one bit tempted by this because I'm just not responsible enough to handle that kind of power. There's been a whole lot of stuff released this week, or at least images of upcoming releases have been put out on social media, and so I've got a lot. So a lot of it, as usual, is eyeshadow heavy. That's just the way that makeup seems to go. It just makes for exciting pictures, so I imagine that's why brands really focus on their eyeshadows as well. So let's just dive into it, shall we? Last week I did talk about Glamlite. This is the company that released the pizza palette. They have a burger and a taco palette coming up as well, and it looks like they're also going to be offering pizza slice palettes. They're going to feature two 10-color palettes. There's going to be a veggie lovers and a meat lovers, with an entirely different color scheme than the original pizza palette. Think lots more ultra vibrant shimmers, it says. And they are coming in summer 2019. There have been no pictures shown of what the shades might look like. And in fact, in the Glamlite post, they're asking the audience, what toppings would you like to see? Or in other words, what colors would you like to see? So it sounds to me like it's still very much in development. But if you like the formula of the pizza palette, there is going to be a plethora of palettes available from Glamlite coming up in the coming months. Alright, so I'm just going to go through them in the way that I screenshotted them. Oftentimes I try to sort of group them in like a way that kind of flows, but there's so much this week that we're just going to take it as it comes. So Stila has released a buff powder spray. It's a loose setting powder spray that feels like spun silk on the skin. It instantly blurs imperfections and sets makeup. It's going to retail for $30 and it comes in light medium and medium deep. I don't know how I feel about this. As far as I know, I've never heard of another setting powder spray, and I'm not even entirely sure how that would work. So I'm very curious about it, not necessarily curious enough to go out and buy it, but just curious to hear some reviews on this because I picture it being very messy, but, or like super aggressive, like I'm thinking hairspray on the face. But I would like to see how this functions in real life. So the Sephora near me doesn't carry Stila anymore, but Shoppers Drug Mart does. So if this comes to a Shoppers Drug Mart, I'd be very interested in like giving a little spray and seeing what happens. But I'm just very curious overall about the product because it sounds very innovative and very different. I'm not sold on it yet though. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Available now from BH Cosmetics is the next installment in their mini Zodiac palettes. This is the Aries palette. And this is the first time that one of these palettes has actually looked nice to me. All the other ones have looked very boring. I still think this one looks very safe in terms of its color story, but overall I'm not as put off by this one as I have been by others. These do retail for $14, so if warm, neutral kind of shadows are your jam, here's a palette to fill that need for a very reasonable price point. Sol de Janeiro is coming out with some glow oils. There are 3 new shades, so Samba, Sway, Goldie Rocks, and Master Flash. These look like the kind of product that I can see people looking amazing in. It's just not the kind of product that I would ever use. It just doesn't fit my lifestyle. I don't really have the need to be super glowy on my body. I tend not to show my body as much as I can possibly get away with hiding it. But I can see people like looking amazing, especially in the warmer weather, with something like this. So if that's your jam, there's a product for you. On a very similar vein, Fenty Beauty has also brought back their body lavas, which is a similar kind of idea. And they've also included a new shade, which I can't tell which one's the new shade. I think it's brown sugar, but I honest to God can't tell just based on this post. At any rate, they now have 3 shades to choose from, and it looks like it would then therefore cover basically the entire spectrum of skin tones, which I think is obviously great. Again, it's not for me, but I can see that people would look amazing with these products on. When I saw this picture and read the caption on it, I had to reread it because this is from MAC and it looks very off-brand for MAC. With the big square pans, I really thought it was going to be Lorac or even Makeup Geek because they are now turning towards this square pan kind of palette idea. But no, this one is from MAC and it is the Rose Gilded palette, which includes 10 shades of 3 different finishes. There's no release date as of yet. I think it looks really pretty. I don't necessarily think that it's anything new or revolutionary, but it does look very pretty. I'm not overly familiar with the MAC eyeshadow formula. From what I can gather off of different reviews that I've watched, there's a little bit of a hit and miss with it. I'm not entirely sure. Feel free to correct me down below or share your experiences with them. So I mean, it looks really pretty, and certainly MAC is an iconic cosmetics brand, so I can only imagine that it would be good. But again, if you guys have a lot of experience with MAC eyeshadows in specific, feel free to leave your comments down below on how you think they perform as compared to other brands. On March 28th, the new eyeshadow singles from Pat McGrath will be coming to the Sephora website. Some of these are from existing palettes, while some of them are new. So if there have been palettes that you have really been curious about or really drawn to a particular shade, but didn't want to justify paying the price for the entire palette, now is your opportunity to buy that individual shadow, perhaps. I think there's 17 of them. Yeah, 17 in total. The swatches look unbelievable. Like, they look so good. So I don't know the price point on these. It doesn't say in the post, at least I don't think it does. Let me double check. $25 each. Okay, so here in Canada, it's going to be about $31 to $32 each. So even at that, for me, it's going to be like a pick and choose, maybe one, if I get any, which is going to be really difficult because they're effing gorgeous. They are so beautiful. Immediately, my eye is drawn to the matte purple. I think it's just so rich and vibrant, but there's a ton in there that look stellar. What also looks beautiful is this new collection from Zoeva. This is the Melody collection. The shadows themselves don't really do it to me, but the packaging is stunning. It is A1. I really like the whole thing. It looks very classy to me. I don't know that I'm going to, well, I'm not going to go out and buy it because the shadows themselves don't really speak to me, but the packaging, oh, if I didn't have to pay daycare for 2 kids plus activities and all that kind of jazz, yeah, I'd buy this just for the packaging. But I have to be a little bit more responsible than that, so I have to draw the line somewhere. But I do think it looks beautiful. This is going to be available March 25th online at the Zoeva website. And yeah, if you get it, I'm jealous because the packaging is gorgeous. Oh, I should have mentioned these earlier when I mentioned the whole Stila thing, but again, I'm just kind of rolling through my screenshots to see where we're at. This is also from Stila. They're releasing 2 new eyeshadow palettes. They contain 12 shadows each. They're $52 and they are limited edition. One is the Happy Hour eyeshadow palette and the other is the After Hours eyeshadow palette. I think they're beautiful, and I don't know why I didn't screenshot the outer packaging, but it's this just beautiful gold case, and it just, again, looks very classic and very chic. This one, the shadows do draw me in significantly more than the Zoeva one did, to the point where I think I'd have a difficult time choosing between the 2 of them. One is slightly more cool toned, where the other has more warmer tones. I think I'm a little bit more drawn to the warmer toned one, to be honest, just with the mix of shimmers and mattes that are in there. Yeah, I'm very much interested in that. So this is one that I might have to put some Shoppers Drug Mart points towards, because I can probably get these through Shoppers Drug Mart once they hit their beauty boutique, especially online. In last week's new release video, I did touch briefly upon the Villains palette from ColourPop. I'm just going to insert quickly here swatches from all of the products that are part of that collection. They are beautiful. They're beautiful. I did recently place a ColourPop order. I just couldn't resist the spring palette. I can't remember what it's called. Sweet Talk, I think it is. And I did add, I think, one of the jelly shadows from this collection and one of the highlighters. But the palette, while the colors are very pretty, like I said last week, I just don't know what to do with them. So I think I would struggle with creating looks with it, but they're beautiful. The whole collection is really pretty, to be honest. So I thought I'd just include the swatches so that you can see exactly what you could potentially be getting. More eyeshadows, this time from Melt Cosmetics. They are releasing a new stack, and they're calling it the Shape Shift Stack, and it's going to have 4 duochromatic eyeshadows included in it. One of them reminds me of Insomnia from Makeup Geek, or I think it's Blue Brown from MAC. Pretty much most brands have a shade like this where it's sort of a teal with a red base kind of deal going on. I'm not going to buy it simply because I know it's going to be expensive. It doesn't have the price on here, but they're typically in like the $50 range, I believe. It's going to be available March 29th at noon Pacific Standard Time if you're interested. Does it say if it is? It doesn't say if it's limited edition or not, but my experience with Melt has been that they often do sell out very quickly upon initial launch, so if you're interested, you might want to hop on it quickly. Okay, we have a new lip product to talk about. This one is from Too Faced. It is the Peach Puff Long Wearing Diffused Matte Lip Color. So I understand that this is going to be like that blurred matte lip effect that we see a few brands putting out now. MAC has a whole line of them, and ColourPop has a line as well. They have the Luxe lipsticks with the blurred effect, and they also have the blotted lips as well. And I really like the effect of those kind of lip products, so I am very curious about these. I have ordered Too Faced lip products online before, and the colors don't match what I thought I was going to be receiving, so this is one that I'd want to see in stores and swatch, simply because sometimes their nudes just don't really work for my skin tone, and they're too yellow based or too peachy or whatever the case may be, so I just want to swatch it before I buy, but I am very curious about this formula and probably will buy one. So Kat Von D has released some new items. She has come out with 2 mini liquid lipsticks in the shades Milagro and Ruthless. I don't recognize those names, so I'm not sure if these are new shades or not. Frankly, in looking, I mean, the shades are pretty, that's fine, but it seems a little like the wrong season for them. Like this would have been a good launch for September leading into fall winter just because they are so deep and muted. But at any rate, there they are. She's also come out with a duo, what is it? Blush and highlighter. This is going to be $22. So it is the Metal Crush Extreme Highlighter in Gamma Ray, which is a metallic peach with gold glimmer, and an Everlasting Blush in Nova, which is a dusty rose. Not going to buy it. I have not come out and fully like officially boycotted Kat Von D, but well, this duo is interesting to me and I like the idea of a blush highlighter duo. It's not enough to send me over the edge and click order. First of all, the highlighter is just not going to work for my skin tone. I don't really like a strong like pinky peach kind of deal going on. I don't like a lot of glimmer or glitter in it. The blush in the pan looks really pretty, but the swatch makes it look really brown. So I'm not sure which one to trust, to be honest. The pink would be pretty, the brown would probably not work for me, just given my skin tone. There's also a Studded Kiss duo, there's Vampira, and then a pure white one. And I can't tell, okay, based on the price, I'm imagining that these are mini sizes because it's $18 for the set. She has also released a Go Big or Go Home mascara. Frankly, I'm kind of surprised that she only released a, well, okay, so on one hand, I'm surprised that she only released a black because she released like, I don't know, was it like 10 eyeshadow or eyebrow colors when she did her like dip brow kind of deal, the eyebrow pomade? I don't know what it was called, doesn't matter. But there was like a hot pink, there was blue, there was yellow, there was all sorts of colors. So I'm kind of surprised that she didn't come out with like a full line of colored mascaras as well. But at the same time, I'm also not surprised because this brand does not seem to be very forward thinking at this point. So I'm not surprised to see that we have one mascara color, one blush and highlighter duo, and only 2 mini lipsticks. So I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. I think that the brand is on its last legs and it just does not appear to be putting in the effort that is going to be necessary to pull it out of the trench that it's in. There's not a lot of thought put behind these launches and it just feels very random and very scattered to me, and I just don't think there's any real creative driving force behind the brand anymore. There, done, moving on. A brand that I do think puts a lot of thought and a lot of effort behind their releases is Certifeye. They have recently released their Affinity 2 palette, which is all blues and greens. I have pre-ordered it. It will ship in April and I cannot wait to play around with it. But she has also, the owner has also released mock-ups of something called the Eternity palette, and it is photoshopped. The colors are just, it's just, like I said, a mock-up just to see. And this brand, like the owner, I don't remember her name, but she really asks for a lot of consumer input. So she wants to know, like, what do you think of these shades? What do you think of the finishes? Where should I make changes? All of that kind of thing. So I love that, and that's one thing that I love about indie brands is that they really do seek the input of the people that they are selling to, and I think that's amazing. I actually really like the color story that's going on, even just in this mock-up. I think there could be some changes made just so that there's a little bit more variety in shades, but overall I really like the tones. So I'll be interested to see where it goes from here. I like seeing the little tweaks and adjustments that she makes based on feedback, and I think that's really laudable. I know people kind of dragged her to filth the last time because she had photoshopped this mock-up. I just don't think that they realized that it was stated to be a photoshopped mock-up. Like it's just a prototype. It was never meant to be like, here's what we have. You gotta read the descriptions, people. You gotta just, anyways. People are so quick to judge and they don't actually read and inform themselves before they do so. Cleona Cosmetics is coming out with some duochrome shadows. So this picture is like a whole lot of stuff going on here. I get that. This was just the best way for me to be able to actually capture how many things were going on. It is screenshotted right from their timeline on their Instagram. So they've posted a lot of pictures of each one to show like that duochrome and how it shifts depending on how the light hits it, and then there's video embedded in each one. So definitely go over and check out their Instagram if you want to see any of these shadows in action. I think they're effing gorgeous. I think they're effing gorgeous, especially the ones on the top row, the purples and the blues. But having said that, they're all beautiful. I've only just recently started trying Cleona Cosmetics. That's actually what I have on my lids today. There is the Viseart Liaison palette, and then the actual lid shade is Hex from Cleona, and I love it. So I'm very, very interested in these. I think they are stunning and beautiful, and I'm really, really impressed with their formulation to begin with, so I'm excited to see those ones come out and order all of them. Probably not all of them, but some at any rate. So Bennett's awake from his nap, if you can hear him crying in the background. Barry's upstairs with him, I can hear him on the monitor. He always wakes up upset from his nap. In the morning, he's happy as anything, but his nap always kind of devastates him. But then he'll come down and all we're going to hear is him running overhead, so I'm just going to power through, wrap this up so that I can then just go and play with him. So this is a brand that I haven't heard of before, Amorous USA, but this palette looks fun as hell. This is the limited edition Remember Me palette. It is currently available. It is a pressed pigment palette, so not eyeshadows, so just do your research on that kind of thing. Sometimes pigments can stain the skin. That's not a deal breaker for me, but this just looks fun as hell. So I'm probably going to check it out. I don't know what the price of it is, but I would be very curious to see what the price point is, and if it's not horrific, I might actually order that because I think that just looks really, really fun, if I hadn't said that enough. Speaking of pretty, Give Me Glow Cosmetics is also releasing some new matte eyeshadows. Hey, low battery, I need you. I need you. You're gorgeous. Also, Cup of Cake. I love that. Cup of Cake, not cupcake. Cup of Cake. Hey Chick, Mushroom. The only one in here that really doesn't do anything for me is At the Beach, but those other 5, oh, yes please. Also, they have some other ones over here. Wink, Dreamhouse, Brittany, Retro Beige, and Sky High. I would adopt them all and give them a place in my house to sleep and live and stay and play because I think they're beautiful. I have not had a lot of experience with Give Me Glow Cosmetics, but I do have one of their palettes, their Christmas palette, and the mattes are like phenomenal. They are so good. Their shimmers are also beautiful. I just had a really hard time applying them with a brush. Definitely use a finger with them, but I am so stoked about these new mattes. And I believe they have some other ones as well, but these are the current pictures at any rate, and I can foresee myself definitely ordering some of them because they look so pretty. Alright, Estee Lauder is not a brand that I'm overly familiar with. Like, I know the name, I have used some of their products in the past, but it's just not a brand that I ever really even check out when I'm like on the Sephora website. I never really go to their brand and look at everything that's there. I don't know why that is. I don't really hear a lot of people talk about Estee Lauder with the exception of their foundation, but honest to God, the packaging on this is just freaking beautiful. This is their summer collection, Bronze Goddess collection. So they're going to have some face powders. It says face powders and more. The one on the bottom right, an eyeshadow palette, I think, with maybe a blush in the middle, I'm guessing. But at any rate, it looks so pretty. It looks so pretty. Even the bronzers, like the imprint on the actual powders themselves looks beautiful. So I don't know what the price of these are. I've never used Estee Lauder eyeshadows. Again, if you have, I would love to hear your experiences with them or any of their products, to be honest, just because I'm not familiar with the line at all. But I am liking what I'm seeing here. So maybe this summer I'm going to have to check something out. Also, aesthetically pleasing, YSL. This is their summer 2019 collection as well. And I love the color story that they have going on here. It's very safari-ish. They have the browns, the greens, the sort of coral kind of colors. It's just top notch. Looks beautiful. Again, I have not used any YSL eyeshadows, so I have no idea what those are like. If those are the regular like lip tatouage lipsticks down there, then yes please. Especially that beigey nude color. I'm really about like nude lips lately, and I love that formula. So this promo picture looks like it just sucked me right in. I just love the color story. I love it. So I want to keep my eye on this. I know they're going to be very pricey, but maybe I'll pick and choose 1 or 2 items from it because it looks so pretty. All right, we are on to the very last thing, and there's not much to say about it except I hate black and white promo pics. I hate them. Why are you teasing something that's coming up and not even showing the colors? That's not a tease, that's just an annoyance. Sorry, Juvia's place, but it is. It's the Warrior 3 palette coming up. Warrior 1 and 2 were both very neutral in nature, so I'm kind of expecting this one to be neutral, but time will tell. I know because it's Juvia's place, it's going to be phenomenal quality, but it really just irritates me when brands use these black and white pictures because what is the point? Alright, so this worked out to be perfect timing. Barry just came downstairs with Bennett, and Aspen is also just outside the makeup room, so I'm going to wrap it up here and go play with my family. As always, I would love to hear from you down below. What are you excited about? What are you not excited about? Share any thoughts that you want. I just hit myself on my acrylic case. And thank you so much for taking the time to watch. I will see you in my next video. Until then, just be a decent human being. Bye for now.